All right, Las Vegas, time to get this show started. You ready? All right, here we go. The 2022 NFL Draft is now officially open.
What do you think the Bears are looking at with your best player available?
Well, when I look at what I've got here for the Bears, I'm looking at offensive line, and Bernhard Raimann is still out there. That could be an option for him, and then corner would be next. We've got a couple corners with Booth and Gordon. Booth from Clemson, Gordon from Washington.
Okay, so let's go inside the draft hall. The Chicago Bears didn't have a first-round pick because they acquired Justin Fields last year. We're going to get some more picks coming because they traded away Khalil Mack. But here's Matt Forte with the pick. First one for Chicago here in Vegas. Oh, is that Maniscalco with him? Fantastic.
Yeah. All right, Bears fans, with the 39th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, Chicago Bears select DB from Washington, Kyler Gordon. We're fortunate Kyler's here.
So finally coming out of the green room. He's just figuring what he just wants to hang out in the green room for one more. I think he'd want to get out right away.
He's milking it before he starts to walk up. He's waiting for his walk-up music.
I don't know, maybe Maniscalco could tell some jokes between now and then.
Maybe he's sitting there saying, I waited for you, now you wait.
Is that what's happening?
Exactly right.
Well, you know the home team comes out second. So
hopefully,
well, he's
hopefully he's going to come, because one thing that everybody's been commenting on from last night. Yeah, I mean, like, can we get these guys within a quarter mile of the stage?
I will say, aren't we all a little bit bummed out that Mac Jones didn't have this walk last year?
Oh, well, yeah, when Vince McMahon his way out of it.
Can you imagine that for this amount of time?
You know, Kyler's he doesn't have stage fright. He was a competitive dancer as a kid.
Okay.
Right? So, I mean,
I've
he's
seen
fine
the video.
with the yeah.
Here's the thing, too, as you see the Bears celebrating. They were looking, right, DJ, for that guy opposite Jalen Johnson, who they got out of Utah in the second round a few seasons ago. They want that guy opposite him. Kyler Gordon, I talked with a personnel director, and he kept telling me people are saying there's not so much production. He said people aren't throwing it because he was always latched onto him.
Yeah.
You don't throw it into that area.
By the way, I do love this feature that the kids, the prospects, get to see themselves in an NFL cap for the first time. And
Get it right. Get it right.
Yeah, make sure that they get it the way they want to.
I love it. He's milking it, too. I love it.
I mean, seriously, he watched it all go down last night. Now he's here.
But give him credit, too.
And he gets to give his hug.
Rich, he stayed over. He's one of those prospects that stayed. I always give him an extra point for the second day.
And some people and some teams that had him over his teammate, Trent McDuffie, that we saw go yesterday. That's an unbelievable pair of corners they had there for the Huskies. This is a guy who can play in press. He can play in off. He's very comfortable. There's no panic to his game. This is a back shoulder throw, which is one of the toughest balls to defend. Just very relaxed and comfortable. High points it, gets his feet down. Then you put him in off coverage. Again, pattern read. Be able to see it, put your foot in the ground, drive, and make a play. Outstanding ball skills for him. He got a lot of action as teams tried to avoid McDuffie. You can even kick him inside some, let him work in the slot, working against Drake London right here, using that length to poke the ball away. And then the physicality. It jumps out to you in the run and the pass. You also saw it on special teams. You mentioned also, Joel, about the ballet. I said I've seen the video.
Here it is.
We've got it.
We've got the video. Kyler Gordon.
And the hair hasn't changed.
I think that's why he's so patient on the field.
That.
Didn't Lynn Swann do this too, right?
Yeah, Lynn Swann definitely did it.
Well, it worked out for him. All right, it's now time for Melissa Stark.
Literally a dancing bear, by the way.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Okay, talking about dancing. He didn't have to wait long tonight. You are the newest member of the Chicago Bears. Were you taking it all in the green room?
Yeah, I was. With my family, it was just a crazy time to be there with everybody that supported me from the bottom. And I'm so thankful. Yeah, I'm blessed.
The Bears fans out here are already cheering for you. You get to face Aaron Rodgers 2 times a season. I know the Bears fans are watching on TV. They want to know what you're going to bring to this team. Yeah, we're going to bring a whole lot of energy. We're going to turn it up. I want to be a guy that will come in here and produce and just be a great person on this team. And I'm just so excited. I'm thankful to be with this organization, a bunch of great people that I love. So I'm excited to get to know them more and build this relationship with the team. Awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, thank you so much.
Here's the Bears pick.
Bear down. Bear down. With the 48th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Jaquan Brisker, defensive back, Penn State.
You're a fan. I just saw what you just mouthed there, Joel.
I love this guy. DJ, I know you love him as well. I mean, instinctual. He's all over the field.
I love him too.
And you can love him as well.
Can I get in? All right.
DJ, here's what I love. Critical moments, he showed up, and they relied on that defense so heavily.
I'm just disappointed that we had the guy that does the hot sauce show that didn't announce Sauce Gardner as a pick. Missed opportunity. But this is a secondary that's added some toughness. Eberflus with that defense, you add Kyler Gordon and now you add Brisker. You've added some playmakers and some tough dudes that back end.
Joel, you called plenty of his games. I was watching you call the Wisconsin game when he took over down the stretch on defense. Do you know where his toughness comes from? His grandfather, ABA All-Star John Brisker, known as the Pittsburgh Bad Boy, and finish up his career as a professional
So you
boxer.
think Ryan Poles got the job and said, I think we need to address the secondary? What do you think?
I think that might be a priority.
Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker are the latest Chicago Bears. Let's see who the Bears add for the third player today.
With the 71st pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Velus Jones, wide receiver, Tennessee.
Charles, it's a volunteer, so you've got to take him, but I do find it interesting when you think about what his skill set is and what he can do.
You mean Cordero Patterson?
Going to the Chicago Bears.
Absolutely, and this is a kid who started out at USC and transferred to Tennessee, and watch him work in the slot. Big body guy. I don't know about you guys, but when he ran at the combine, that was faster than what I anticipated. I knew he could roll, but I thought he was a big, strong, physical kid. I had no idea he was going to run sub 4.4.
Well, you know, in his past,
that was the thing that I saw.
He's been a 10-500 meter guy too.
I mean, he gets going and gets it up there. And don't forget, special teams play for him.
That's right.
Cordero Patterson is a returner, as Daniel outlined. Velus Jones is a returner. And how about the blocking?
Are the Vols back? We've been seeing some Vols go in this draft.
By the way, I got to get it in. That's Tennessee 2, Appalachian State 0.
All right, let's take the pick. They're finally ready across the pond.
To announce the Bears selection, please welcome, live from the UK, 12-year-old Bears fan Jack Marshall and Sky Sports host Neil Reynolds.
Thank you very much. Yes, welcome to Sky Sports, home of the NFL in the UK. Now, the Chicago Bears are very excited to connect with fans across the United Kingdom, including 12-year-old Jack Marshall. Earlier today, he scored 2 touchdowns for his flag football team. Now he's going to make the all-important pick. Over to you, Jack.
With the 168th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the 1985 Super Bowl winning Chicago Bears select Braxton Jones, tackle, Southern Utah, bear down.
Yes! Fantastic. By the way, I just interviewed with Neil here like 2 days ago.
Neil's back overseas?
Back overseas and getting to work. You want to talk about length? Almost 36-inch arms, 35 3/8-inch arms for Braxton Jones at 6'5 1/4, 310. He's a specimen, and when he gets his arms on you, it's over. He just needs to get a little bit more comfortable, play with a little bit more balance. But to me, Charles, if he can get his pads down, play with more balance, that length, that's going to be a huge asset for him.
Is the Concorde back in action?
Yeah, he got back there quick.
I mean, my man was moving it back there. But you're exactly right about this kid. Offensive lineman at a premium. And by the way, didn't you just mention Ryan Poles and offensive lineman?
Yeah, there he got one.
Once again, he's been on it, hasn't he, guys? Comparisons, what teams are going to take.
Look how thrilled they are.
Putting the whole thing together.
Okay. Bear down, indeed. Yeah, a little high five. Yeah, there we go.
I love that. The 1985 champs.
That's great.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
With the 174th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears proudly select Dominique Robinson, defensive end from Miami of Ohio. Welcome to Chicago, Dominic. Bear down.
This is a pure leverage rusher. Said this about a couple guys, but the effort for him is outstanding. 4-point stance or 3-point stance, big time burst. They do run a lot of those games, so a lot of twists, a lot of stunts. This is a former wide receiver, so it tells you what type of athlete that you're working with a 41-inch vertical. By the way, congratulations to Charlie. We got a Miami, Ohio guy going
Charlie,
to the Bears.
Charlie, atta baby, our boss man. And
King of Spring. He's very happy.
And it's to the Bears, Charlie's team.
We have a Charlie reaction video? No?
No, we have Charlie in the truck.
Hey, DJ, with Dominique Robinson, D'Angelo Malone, similar trait, similar body type.
Yeah, he's
out of Western Kentucky.
Yeah, he's a little more, I would say, a little more thick.
Yeah.
And D'Angelo Malone a little more angular. But both guys win with their first step.
The 186th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Zachary Thomas, tackle, San Diego State. Woo!
So the Bears make a pick. Another guy from San Diego State, Zachary Thomas, now going to the Bears.
Yeah, Cameron Thomas, Zachary Thomas. Zachary Thomas started 17 games at right tackle, 14 games at left tackle, and 2 games at right guard. He tore his ACL back in 2018, and he missed most of 2019. But to me, the brother of Cameron Thomas, he's a guy who has the tools to play at the next level. You look at his size, he's 6'5", 308 pounds. He ran a sub-5-second 40, fires off the ball, gets into position, flashes the ability to generate push, needs to get a little bit stronger in the lower body. But he's got the length, the agility, and just the versatility.
With the 203rd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Trestan Ebner, running back, Baylor.
Runs big behind his pads, but his best trait, versatility. He can play running back, wide receiver, return kicks, coverage kicks, a dream for an NFL roster. And I felt badly for him, Jordan, in the Big 12 championship game. That is because as the Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Year, muffed 2 punts. And you can see head coach Dave Aranda going, I hate to pull you, man. You're one of our captains, but I have to. I felt badly in that moment for him, but hey, now he has a chance to prove himself on the NFL level, a very versatile player.
He does. He made a dynamic duo at Baylor with some of the other running backs they had there. Abram Smith was the name that I couldn't remember for a second there, but him and Abram Smith was a dynamic duo there. But Ebner, as you mentioned, he's that versatile guy.
With the 207th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Doug Kramer, center, Illinois.
Well, we just touched on it.
There we go.
Yeah, another offensive lineman in the form of a center in Doug Kramer.
He goes home. He's from Hinsdale, south side there of Illinois, or of Chicago, I should say. Played his ball at Illinois. And you see there's the center measurables, right? 6'2", shorter arms. So what are you looking at center? Smart guy, want him to move after he snaps the ball. A guy that, you can trust to communicate, set your protections perhaps. So
the Chicago Bears select Jatyree Carter, guard, Southern University.
So taking a look at the all SWAC selection from 2021, this past season, he was the second team member of that conference distinction. No sacks allowed in his career. I mean, if that is not going to get you a little bit of love, not exactly sure what else will for you. And he does have some pretty good game experience as well with 38 games played.
Yeah, another HBCU player here. And when you play at a small level there, and I always tell my scouts this, those guys better dominate. You don't want to go in a small school and try to figure out which guy is this I'm supposed to be evaluating. They better stand out and they better dominate their level of competition. And you saw that Carter has not given up a sack there in the SWAC. So that's number one. That's plus number one. Made it to the combine, got to show his wares there. So hopefully now he's getting picked.
With the 254th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Elijah Hicks, defensive back, California.
So Elijah Hicks, Baldy, is the selection. Got an opportunity to talk to linebackers coach Keith Hayward from Cal. He told me at the NFL level, versatility, this is a kid who can go play free or strong safety. He's really smart, understands box fits. His head coach, Justin Wilcox, said, look, this guy is going to do everything right off the field. Stayed when there was a coaching change, went back for another year, didn't have a ton of to do to grow up. Spent a lot of time thinking about how to help other people. I always like the good stories, Baldy, and guys who do want to do well for their community. Didn't want kids to go hungry. Raised a ton of money for organizations in that realm. So in terms of a good guy Chicago's getting, they got that, and the guy can play as well.
Well, I'm just looking at what Matt Eberflus has done when he was in Indianapolis. With Kari Willis when he came out of Michigan State, and Julian Blackmon and how they've just anchored the back end of that defense in Indianapolis, being a top 5, top 10 defense. And there's a certain way that you got to play if you're going to be a safety for Matt.
The Chicago Bears select Trenton Gill, punter, NC State.
Trenton Gill, the punter out of NC State, a kicker, and 4 punters taken in this draft. Do we have punting XL? Of course we do. Boom. I mean,
Aussie style right there. See that drop straight down?
Yeah, the Bears took him.
1 punter, 2 punter, 3 punter, 4.
There we go. Oh, more punter and Gill. There we go. Oh, let loose. Why don't you? Number 99 is a punter, too.
Drop it in there. Catch the ball. That's beautiful.
It's a big punter.
Tied for the most punters ever, huh?
6'4", 220-pound punter. It's a big dude.
How about that nice special teams coverage, too?
Right now, it's time to tell you guys about who the Bears have signed as undrafted free agents, and Ryan Poles has been busy, so here we go. Let's get into some of the names that they have added. You've got Savon Scarver, the wide receiver out of Utah State, who is in as well for Chicago. 4'4", 40-inch vertical, pretty good speed. Kevin Shaw out of Liberty, similar size, a little undersized, good speed though. Played with Malik Willis there for the Flames. Landon Lenore, we'll talk about him for a second here. 5'11" and a quarter, 186 pounds, Southern Illinois, excuse me. And he is actually the younger brother of one Lance Lenore, who spent some time in the NFL and I believe is playing in the USFL right now as well. I was like, I remember that name, Landon Lance Lenore. They got to be related. Lo and behold, they are. And he had a good college career there at Southern Illinois. And then another receiver, 4 of 6 receivers here. Henry Litwin out of Slippery Rock. Yes, Slippery Rock. How about these numbers? In his college career, 3,400 yards and 42 touchdowns. I know the competition is, slipping compared to the NFL, but hey, you get that production, you get a undrafted free agent signing for the Chicago Bears. Couple more receivers, and then we'll go to tight end. Cyrus Holder out of Duquesne, 6'4", 200 pounds, so he's got a pretty good frame there. So does Luke Little, who, looks like he could be selling cars soon. But he also is a baller on the field. 6'4", 220, 20 touchdowns last year for UMary, which I'm not sure what level of school that is. I'm guessing D2 or D3, but again, very good production. Like the size. Can you put 20 pounds on him and make him a tight end? Maybe. Jake Tongs, the tight end out of Cal. Mostly a guy that can block a little undersized. Had a couple hundred yards last year. Chase Allen of Iowa State is intriguing to me. I watched him some in college, living down here in Big 12 country. 6'7", 250 pounds. So he's got good size. He was teammates with Charlie Kolar, who got drafted yesterday. But I'm intrigued by his somewhat athletic profile. Keep it moving here. Master Teague, probably the most notable name on this list, the running back out of Ohio State. And let's go ahead and talk about him a little bit more. I was surprised he didn't get an NFL Combine update. Now, he kind of got phased out of Ohio State's offense this past year, but early on in his career, he showed a lot of promise for the Buckeyes. 5'11 and a quarter, 220. He's got really good size. I mean, he's kind of a bowling ball. But what impressed me is he actually tested pretty well at Ohio State's Pro Day. Had some good explosion. I think there's some athletic upside here. Get to some more defensive guys here. C.J. Avery, the linebacker out of Louisville, 4-year player for the Cardinals. So I like his experience on that front. Jalen Alexander out of Purdue, who I watched a little bit in the Big Ten. Decent athletic profile for him. Christian Albright, linebacker out of Ball State. You've got him in the mix as well. And then Allie Green, the cornerback out of Missouri, who I loved his teammate, Caleb Evans, who got drafted in the 4th round, but Green a part of that defense as well. Derek Bush, the quarterback out of Coastal Carolina. Deshaun McNary out of Central Michigan. Jalen Jones out of Ole Miss. I actually am fairly intrigued by him. And then John Alexander, the safety out of Charlotte as well. And then the last couple of guys here that were kind of later additions, Micah Treadway, the defensive lineman out of Minnesota. And then this one just happened right before we filmed. Safety Amari Carter has also signed as well. So 22 undrafted free agents have signed.